This is Bruce Bochy, and you're listening to the Ranger Report.
The Ranger Report. Yeah, the Ranger Report. If you want the inside scoop, listen to the Ranger Report. Oh, here we go.
This is the Ranger Report podcast. News, insights, predictions, interviews, and information about the Texas Rangers from the major leagues to the minor leagues. And now, here are your hosts, Ben Dieter and CJ Berryman.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Ranger Report podcast, minor and major league edition. Since we've been not doing the minor one, we wanted to throw that in tonight since 3 of the 4 people are done. And tonight, let me forget all of our stuff. We are on the Fans First Sports Network. You can find them at fansfirst.com. Also, we are on the Premium Health Solutions, online studio. We are sponsored by Walton's, hello Walton's, everything but the meat. And of course, you can find us on X. You can find me at VDeater75.
Yeah, that was a fail.
It's all right. People love fails more than they love it when we succeed.
Yeah.
Hey, if we were always good, this show would be boring.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so VDeater75. CJ, where can they find you?
At CJB_RR.
And you can find us at The Ranger Report on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, other places. We're everywhere. TheRangerReport.com, of course. Buy stuff, Patreon. Buy me a coffee if you just want to throw $5 our way. We'll take it. Walton's does a great job sponsoring us, but we need more money because we're trying to go to spring training in March, and that's not cheap.
Trying to go to spring training, and shoot, we'd love to be doing this daily.
Yeah, that would be great. We would love to be doing this for a living. But anyway, Let's start tonight with our minor league stuff. Let's start with the team that is still playing, and that's the Round Rock Express. So the Round Rock Express played their last regular season game today. They finished with the record of, I just told you, 89-60, I believe, which is a pretty good record. I mean, that's a pretty good season.
29 games above 500, yeah.
Yeah, I can live with that. So,
and all right, all 89 wins in that league.
They did actually. So 89-60 had a really good year. Led, just was great all year long. They had a couple of slow spots, but they had a streak in there where they won. You remember what it was? Was it 12 in a row or 10 in a row?
It was
ridiculous.
Double digits.
Yeah, it was a lot of wins in a row. So, and that really pushed them through. They're in the playoffs, which start this week, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But we wanted to highlight a few players, and I wanted to start with the guy who started at Hickory and played there for like 2 weeks, and then went to Frisco and played there for like 2 weeks, and then got called up to Round Rock, and now he's been there. And that's Wyatt Langford, the draft pick from 2023 this year. Langford has had 19 at-bats at Round Rock, and he is hitting, are you ready for this? 368, a 538 on-base percentage, a 526 slugging percentage, and a 1064 OPS.
Playing excellent defense, too.
Defense. So, he's walked 6 times in 19 at-bats. That's pretty good right there. And he's stolen 3 bases, by the way, as well.
So yeah, it'd be six times in 25 plate appearances then?
Yeah, 6 times in 25 plate appearances he has walked.
And you don't see a young guy come in that young with that little pro experience, pro ball period. Yeah. And number one, thunder through the minor league system, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, he basically just jumped 1, 2, 3, just right through the whole thing.
He just had a cup of coffee with Hickory and Round Rock, and then he's like, hey, here I am in Hickory and Frisco, and now he's up in Round Rock, and he's doing the same things he was doing at all the other 2 levels. And then you're going to get you can't talk about Round Rock right now without talking about Wyatt Langford.
You definitely cannot. You definitely cannot.
It's a meteoric, Mike Trout type rise.
Yeah, the way he's just blowing through the system.
He was just drafted a few months ago. Yeah,
it wasn't that long ago at all. Wasn't it? And if you look at his time at Frisco, let's look back there real quick. Hold on, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry.
You're fine.
But at Frisco, the dude had 42 official at bats. He had 4 homers, 8 RBIs. He walked only 4 times at Double-A, but he hit 256, 360, 581. And of course, he had those 4 home runs, and he just ripped through there. I mean, like it was no problem whatsoever. He had 11 hits, scored 11 runs. I mean, just, basically he played in 11 games and he had 11 hits. So he basically got a hit every game he played in. But the dude just at every level, like you said, was unstoppable.
Yeah, and in Frisco, he had 87 at-bats.
Yeah, sorry. In Hickory, yeah.
In Hickory, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
57 at-bats, or 87 at-bats, 8 doubles, 2 triples, 5 homers, 15 walks, or 15 RBIs, 18 walks, and a 333 batting average.
Yeah, I started a Langford watch there when he was in Hickory, but I just ran out of time to do it because, my day job started and I didn't have time to keep up with everything every day. But, and also you can't talk about it. And I know there's a guy you're going to talk about in a minute, but I wanted to mention Davis Wenzel, who hit his 30th home run today. 30 homers, 74 RBI, 77 walks, 236, 361, 477 slash with an 838 OPS. Just like you mentioned earlier, kind of, who did you say he kind of reminds you of?
Kind of his stat line kind of reminds me of Adolis Garcia.
Yep.
Not really a high average guy.
No.
But he's getting on. I mean, his OPS is 838.
Yeah.
Which you'll take that for a guy that hasn't been hitting, he's hitting under 250.
Well, he's finally been healthy this year, and it's shown.
Yeah, he's finally been healthy. He had his 30th home run, like you said, 74 RBIs. Yep. That's a pretty darn good season in the minor leagues.
For a team that won 89 games, he definitely contributed to that team winning the 89 games.
Yeah, so he's another infielder that now the outfield's crowded. I mean, the infield and the outfield. The infield's completely blocked.
Oh yeah.
And the outfield now you're going to have people saying to bring up,
Langford,
Mitchell, Wyatt Langford, and look, you got your wish with Evan Carter. I didn't think Evan Carter would be in the majors this year, but I didn't see so many injuries out there happening.
Well, if Garcia wouldn't have got hurt, I don't think Evan Carter would have got called up.
Yeah, no. I don't either. But there was nobody else to. I mean, they tried the JP Martinez experiment. It didn't work out initially.
He did okay, but he didn't do what Evan Carter's doing.
Not even close. No. Evan Carter's proven to already be a game changer.
Yep,
he really has. And
well, he basically hit the game-winning home run today since his shot was one that won the game.
Yeah, luckily the offense didn't settle for when they got that big early lead.
Yeah.
How many home runs did they hit today?
Six home runs.
Golly.
We'll talk about that in the major league side, though. Yeah.
We'll talk about that. Yeah. Davis Wenzel, a pretty darn good year. 30 home runs and 74 RBIs. I don't care if it's in Round Rock or Hickory or down east or in Texas or in Arlington. That's pretty good. You want to see the average come back up, because if the average does come up, then his OPS goes over 1,000.
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, he had a great year, and I know.
But just happy he was healthy to get all that experience.
Yep. And former show guest you wanted to talk about that also had a really good year.
Justin Foskey has been raking in the month of September.
Yeah.
He's got 16 runs scored, 10 doubles, 5 homers, 25 RBIs, 291 batting average. And over the past 4 games, he's at least gotten 1 hit.
Yep.
In fact, let's see here. He is 6 for 19 in his last 4 games. That's pretty darn good. And he's got 2 homers in there. One was a grand slam the other night.
Yep.
And he's looking like he's just about ready to be a major league player again.
Yep.
The infield's blocked. So what are you going to do there? This offseason is going to be just. I know we've said this each year for the past 2 years, and now coming into the 3rd year of the go out and make moves and acquire guys or call guys up or try to just roster management. This is the 3rd year in a row we're like, this offseason is going to be crazy because you got to squeeze that 40-man roster down.
Yep.
And what are you going to do? Where's Cole Winn going to be?
Yeah.
Where's JP Martinez going to be? Where's Elier Hernandez going to be? Who, by the way, broke Round Rock Express record the other day. I believe it was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
It's most single season hits.
Yep.
In Round Rock Express hit history. 163 hits this year. He's
165. He finished with 165.
Well, yeah, he had 2 today.
Yeah, he had 2 today. So he finished with 165. But he broke the record yesterday.
He broke the record yesterday. But he tore it up all year long. He's another one of those quadruple A players. And we didn't get to see him this year at all. That's a guy that I would have expected them to call up instead of Carter because Elier had previous experience and was tearing it up at AAA. But I'm not complaining.
No, I'm not. Well, he wasn't on the 40-man anymore either, so that's why.
Right.
That's why it was Carter.
So yeah, and Elier made a name for himself for sure. And I think whatever decisions they make coming down to next year, it'd be hard to let a guy like that go. And I'll go ahead and say, I'm going to pull up some stats.
And I got one more I want to talk about too.
Go ahead. Yeah, I want to talk about Robert Duggar, but you go ahead.
I got one more I want to talk about, and that is our good friend Blaine Krim, who we've had on the show many times.
We've had him a couple times. We had Justin Foscue a couple times, or once.
Once, yeah. But Blaine Krim this year, I mean, everywhere Blaine Krim has been, he has hit. And it didn't stop here at Round Rock. This year, 22 homers, 85 RBIs. He walked 71 times. He had 494 at bats. And he hit 289, 385, 506 with an 891 OPS. I mean, that dude has never gone at any level and not hit. He, at some point, I think if you take him in the majors, I think he'll hit too. But it's just, where's he going to play for the Rangers? I think he's a guy that's going to be a casualty at some point, but which I hate to see because we love having him on the show. And that dude is like such a great guy. And he's got his bat, he's not the best defender in the world, but man, he can hit the baseball.
That's a guy. I mean, like you just said, going into the season, you just knew what to expect. He's very
you knew he was going to hit. Yeah,
he's very consistent. I mean, you rarely saw him go into a slump. Is kind of what I'm saying. You knew that every night he's going to give you good at bats, and he's like you said, he's going to hit. And I mean, that's what you will take that on a big league club any day of the week.
Yeah,
a guy that you know that's going to go out there and is going to perform for you, no matter what. So
and Blaine Krim has been that guy at every single level, and in the Dominican when he goes there.
And the Dominican, he said he wasn't going to go last year, and then he ended up.
Yeah, and then he went. Yep, and then he went and he tore it up just like usual.
He tore up.
That dude's had more at bats probably than almost anyone in baseball over the last 3 years.
He probably does. does.
But man, he's a dude that I've always rooted for. I always want to see, but I just don't know where the Rangers would put him unless I know Garver's not coming back, but I still don't think he'd even be the DH. I think that's going to be Sam Huff on the days he's not catching. So I just don't see a place for Blaine Krim unless unless Nathaniel Lowe goes down with a major injury and is going to miss most of the season.
Or Josh Young, which we don't want to. I mean, we're happy to have him back. Obviously, the broken left thumb on his left.
Yes.
Left.
Yeah,
thumb.
on his catching hand. Yeah, his left thumb.
Catching hand. So. Yeah. We want to keep everybody healthy. I mean, our infield is stacked. Outfield is stacked and looking very promising. Leote crushed one into the bullpen today. I think there's more to his game still than
I do too.
Than what he's done this year, which he's been pretty damn good this year. I still think there's another level that he can step up to. I truly and honestly believe that. And he's a young guy, and we got him controllable for a while. And I feel very, very confident about our position players moving forward.
Yep.
I really, really do.
And like I said, we're going to lose some of these guys that we talk about. We didn't even mention Dustin Harris, who had a really good season, just guys down there that and Matt Watley, another guy we've had on the show, didn't have a fantastic season at the plate, but he's a good catcher. But again, another guy that's just blocked. There's nowhere for him to go, nowhere for guys like that to go. But
it's super unfortunate, but well, I
mean, the Rangers have built quite the minor league system.
I mean, it's a good problem to have.
Yes,
it really is. It's definitely a good problem to have. And you get attached to these guys whenever, with Bubba,
And
and
Bubba,
Josh
Cole
Stover,
Reagans,
Cole Reagans,
all these guys that have moved on.
Yeah, Mason Englert, and you get attached to them, and what's cool is they're still talking to me. And
well, you remember earlier this year we interviewed Englert.
So,
I interviewed Englert on the field during a Rangers Detroit series, and just the nicest dude in the world. Still,
you got to meet him.
Good kid, man.
So kind of what I was going to talk about for Round Rock. Yeah, good, excellent kid.
Yes.
He was kind of I would say the unsung hero of the staff in Round Rock, because it wasn't spectacular, but he was a guy you could go out there and who's going to give you innings. There was no chance, really, if you look at it, that he's going to be called up unless a catastrophe happened.
Yeah.
With the pitching rotation, even though it feels like there was a catastrophe that happened with the Max Scherzer and Jacob deGrom going down, but he had a 4.31 ERA. It's okay. Started 29 games through 146.1 innings. Had 143 strikeouts. Whip was 1.43. 262 batting average against. He was 7-10 overall. Nothing to blow your head off. Nothing to just make you scream, get him up. That he was consistent and just kind of a guy. He was a rotation spot, and he did his job. So hats off to him. Let's talk about let's see. Let's go over the minor league awards. How about that?
Yeah, let's do that. And then we'll talk about the Arizona Fall League, and then we'll move on to major leagues.
Yes. Hickory and Down East also made the playoffs. And Down East made the championship and fell in 2 games, unfortunately, to Charleston. But minor league award winners, Abby Ortiz is the Tom Grieve Player of the Year. The Nolan Ryan Pitcher of the Year is Jose Corniel. Reliever of the Year, Antoine Kelly, and that's a guy I'm excited to see. That's a bullpen arm. That dude is an arm.
Yeah.
Another guy we talked a lot about this year, Daniel Mateo, was the Defender of the Year. And the True Ranger Award, we just mentioned him, Blaine Krim.
Yep.
So congratulations to those fellas. And we're certainly happy for each one of them. And I mean, especially Antoine Kelly. That's a guy. That is a guy.
Yes, it is.
Cornell. So
when 3 out of your 4 minor league systems has a winning season, and it's not like Frisco was terrible. They just didn't have a winning season this year.
And they had the most stacked team to start.
They did, yes. But Leiter, obviously rough year for him. He had to go to the developmental list at some point because he just wasn't performing. He had a rough year. Several other guys on that team. You had
Owen had to as well.
Yeah, that's right. And then you had Zavala coming back from injury. Took him a little while to warm up. You had guys on that team. It was a stacked team, but there were guys that got hurt during the year. Evan Carter missed time with an injury for that team. So there was a lot of injury and a lot of developmental issues, I would say, where guys just sort of stalled out on that team. And that led to it. But still, I mean, there are a lot of good individual players on that team. They just didn't make the playoffs. And and a lot of their guys got moved up during the year, too, to Round Rock, who did do really well.
Yep, they helped Round Rock. Be able to really put in that hard push to reach the playoff. Mark Church is one of them.
Yeah, Mark Church is one of them.
So that's
all right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, let's go. All right, let's take a look before we move off from the minors to the Arizona Fall League and who the Rangers are sending there this year. So we'll start with pitchers, and no surprise, at least 2 of them are former Ranger Report podcast guests. First one, Mitch Bratt, who we've had on this show before, who had a great year at Hickory. Second one, Zach Kent, who dealt with a lot of injuries this year.
You're my boy, Blue.
And I think that's why he's there, is because he dealt with a lot of injuries this year.
He needs to get some innings in. Yeah.
They want him to get some innings, so he's going to the Arizona Fall League. Justin Slayton is another pitcher going to the Arizona Fall League. A guy, he's from Nacogdoches, Texas, from East Texas.
He's a name to keep an eye on.
He's a good pitcher. He had some injuries as well, but he's a good guy.
He's got some stuff. Yeah.
A guy from Hawaii, Anthony Hupi Tuianoda. I probably said that completely wrong. Tuianoda. I think the end of his name is Toa. So anyway, Anthony, we're very sorry that we just butchered your name on the show. But yes, those are the pitchers that the Rangers have sent to the Arizona Fall League. Liam Hicks, catcher that you need to keep your eye on. I've actually tried to get him on before. It didn't work out. Hopefully during the offseason we can get Liam on. But Liam Hicks is another really good catcher for the Rangers. And then a guy that, again, we've been in talks with to have it on, who had a really good year, is Cam Cauley. Mm-hmm. Cam Cauley is going to be playing in the AFL. And then a guy we just talked about, Abby Ortiz. And then Alejandro Osuna. And then, of course, the manager is
Carlos
Cardoza, one of the most fun guys we've ever talked to. Yes,
we had him on with Luis Angel Acuna.
We did, and then I talked to him at Media Day for the Rough Riders this year, and he still looks like he could play. I mean, he looks like a player when you meet him in person.
He really does.
He does not look like a manager. He looks like a player, but he can manage. I mean, he did a good job this year. He's done a good job at every level he's been at.
Yeah.
So when Down East went, when Down East went to the playoffs 2 years ago, he was the manager of Down East when they went. So, and he was with Hickory last year, who had a good year. So he just keeps moving up one level at a time in the system, but just a good dude. So that's who the Rangers are sending to the Arizona Fall League. So we'll try to keep up with that here during the next few weeks in the podcast to see how these guys do.
Yes, sir. And congratulations to the Arizona Fall League. It's kind of actually for a lot of folks an honor to go and pitch in that, especially the younger players.
Well, yeah, and it's cool because, if you guys don't know how it works, the teams aren't just one team. Like, the Rangers is a surprise, Saragusas. Segueros, there you go. And they have the Rangers, the Reds, the Blue Jays, the Brewers, the Royals all have players on that team.
Yes.
So they get to play with other prospects from around the league, guys they probably played with in college or played with at other levels, and they all get to sort of hang out together and play and learn from each other. It's a really cool thing. It's basically like a minor league all-star.
I was going to say like a developmental all-star.
Yeah, it's like a developmental all-star league. It's pretty cool. So the Rangers, the Royals, the Reds, the Blue Jays, and the Brewers all have players on that team. So it isn't just the Rangers. So it'll be cool to kind of watch all of them interact and see how they do. So we'll keep up with that here on the show.
Yes, we will. All
right. We are going to take a short break. And when we come back, hey, I think if I read the internets right, the Rangers are maybe in first place.
And they may have swept a division rival?
They may have, and another division rival may have got swept by the worst team in baseball. But we'll talk about that coming up after this break on the Ranger Report podcast. Welcome back to the Ranger Report podcast. Thanks again to Fans First Sports Network for, getting the sponsors that we can run ads for and making us a little bit of cash while we do this show. So hopefully it grows on that. But anyway, let's move to the majors where the Rangers swept. So basically, here's what I said to CG off the air. Seattle and Houston both got swept this weekend. Fortunately, it was the Rangers that swept Seattle, and it was the lowly Kansas City Royals that swept Houston at home. And the Royals have played the Astros 7 games in the last 10. And the Royals won 6 of those 7 games, and 3 of them in Houston.
Our buddy Cole Reagan's had something to do with that. Yep.
We always talk about every year there's a team that shouldn't have your number that does.
Ours was this year. Oakland.
Yeah, and this year the Royals have the Astros number for some reason. I mean, it's almost like the Astros just play very trashy against the Royals. I don't know what's going on, but
maybe I should text Cole Reagan's and see, hey, what's the secret?
Well, what I thought was hilarious, and you already mentioned it, but on Friday night, Cole Reagan's got the win. On Saturday night, Jordan Lyles got the win against the Astros. Yeah. So it was former Rangers that were pretty much dominating the Astros this weekend. But anyway, with that being said, the Rangers now have a 2.5 game lead in the American League West in first place, no more in the wild card. They're in first place, and their magic number, which I didn't think I'd be saying this after the month of August and the beginning of September. I thought I'd be saying, you got to work hard to get back in the playoffs. But here they are in first place. Their magic number is 5. If they just win 5 of the last 7 games, then they are guaranteed to make the playoffs. But every time the Astros lose, their magic number goes down. Mm-hmm. So the Astros are playing Seattle. So basically, you want Seattle to sweep the Astros on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Seattle now. It's strange.
We're rooting for Seattle. I know. Between our 2 series, we're rooting for Seattle in between there. But no, I mean, you look at the way they played, the Cleveland thing was so weird, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but just the way they played against Toronto, which we talked about last week, and now the way that they played this week. I mean, this is a team that is they slumped. I mean, if you're going to have a slump like they did, they slumped at the right time because now they're hitting on all cylinders again, right when you have to be able to make the playoffs.
I was worried that after the Cleveland debacle that was kind of a signal that they've run out of gas or just whatever momentum they had was shot at that point. And they came out against Seattle here and just flat out played inspired. Yeah. And the crowd was into it. Last home series of the campaign, and man, they played inspired, and there was a lot of different people involved in it. Jordan, I got a funny couple stats for you here.
Okay,
so I'm gonna have you guess. Have you take a guess on these MLB players with 90 plus home runs and 50 plus stolen bases since the start of 2001. There's only 3 of them.
Really?
Can you guess the 3? One of them should be pretty easy.
Since when?
Since 2021.
Since 2021, there's only 3 of them. Mike Trout?
Teammate.
No, not since teammate? Was it Shohei?
Shohei's one.
Yep.
The other 2 are teammates.
Are they? Both for the Rangers, right?
Both for the Rangers.
Marcus Semien? No. Is that, and is it Adolis?
It's Adolis.
Yeah, Marcus and Adolis. Yep.
The only 3.
Yeah. Oh, I heard them talk. That's right. I heard them mention that today, and they said that it's not like that's common because there's only been, I forget what they said, but there's only been like 8, ever, or 9 ever that have done that or something like that.
Yeah.
And there's 3 this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a rare feat.
It's a very rare thing. And we have 2 on the Rangers.
Yes. And then one more little nugget. So the Rangers traded TK Roby, Thomas DeJesse, and who am I missing? Oh, John King.
Yeah, John King.
And to the Cardinals for Jordan Montgomery and Chris Stratton. Since they've acquired them, the 2 have combined to post a 2.70 ERA and a 1.02 WHIP.
Yeah, it's worked out pretty well for the Rangers.
Yeah, that's been a heck of a trade. And what's funny is that those weren't either of the 2 pitchers that I thought that the Rangers would get from the Cardinals. We talked a lot about
we talked about it. Yeah,
Jordan Hicks and others. We talked about it.
We did not talk about Stratton or Montgomery. Yeah,
no, we didn't. I didn't think they'd get rid of Montgomery. Yeah, considering they're not throwing in the towel, they threw it in on this season.
Yeah, but they're not throwing it in. Yeah,
no, they got gold. They're not going to let their stars.
Yeah,
no, they're not going to rebuild with the stars they have. They're going to come back and try to reload next year. So I was kind of surprised. But I'm not complaining. Montgomery looked outstanding the other night in the 2-0 win. And let's talk about a guy that we've given a lot of grief. And it's looking at his stat line when he came into the game last night in the 8th inning. He's holding opponents to under 200. Yeah, and that's Jose Leclerc. Talk about that, Ben.
Yeah, Jose Leclerc came in yesterday, clean 8th inning, gave up a hit in the 9th, so they brought in Aroldis Chapman, who saved the game.
Yep.
And then today, if you watched him today in the 9th inning, when he got that 3rd out, he was pumped. I mean,
see
totally.
How much that meant to him.
He was totally pumped that he came in because he was supposed to be the closer. Mm-hmm. And he has had a rough year. I mean, there's no getting about it. He had a rough year.
And somehow his DRA is still under 3.5.
Well, because it was all inherited runs. He didn't give up his own runners. He gave up inherited runners. But
that's true.
He's coming on right now at a time where the team desperately needs someone to be able to come in the late innings and hold. And he has come in and done that the last 4 or 5 times he's been in. And another guy who's done pretty well at that has been Jonathan Hernandez this time since being called back up. The 2 guys in 2020 that you and I said were going to be the 8th and 9th inning guys for the Rangers going forward are finally, and like I said, the last week of the season is the best time to do that because you have to win these games. And they're coming. They closed it down after the really rough, middle innings there where the Rangers went from 7-2 to 9-8. They came in and shut it down, and that's what you want to see Jose Leclerc do. If he can do that, and you have Chapman to follow him, 8th, 9th right there. Because Will Smith, I don't think you're going to see him again unless they're down 17-1. I don't think you're going to see Will Smith in a game. So
you got to get to Chapman. You know what I mean? Yeah. You got to have guys in front of him to get him the ball whenever it's crunch time.
Yep.
And Leclerc, is looking like he can be that guy. Hernandez looked like his old self. He has not looked all year long when he was up and down with us. Call ups and send downs. He didn't look like the Hernandez of last year.
No,
nothing like it. Now he's kind of starting to look like that again.
And the thing to me about Leclerc is, if you watch him, Jonah's not having to move his glove much. Leclerc is hitting his spots like spot on. He is putting the ball right where he wants to put that.
And that allows Jonah to he's the best at framing.
Yeah, and it allows him to frame it even better when he barely has to move. Yeah.
So we don't want. It was a few games ago. Bark, 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 bark. It was a few days ago, or a few. Yeah,
I have a dog in case you guys didn't know.
They had to bring Aroldis Chapman in and pitch 2 innings.
Yeah,
brought him in the 8th. You can't do that.
Yeah, and they don't like to do that.
Chapman this year actually has struggled pitching back-to-back nights. So
correct.
You have him go out there and throw 2 innings.
Yeah, and then come in the next night. Yeah.
You gotta have a couple of guys that can shut things down and get it to him in the 9th.
And they're getting there for sure with Leclerc and Hernandez finally. And Stratton, he had a little bit of a rough go today, but I still trust Stratton. I still think Stratton gets the job done most of the time, and he'll be 6th or 7th inning guy. So I think going forward, if they can compete, if they can do their job, I mean, this team could actually make a run. 2 weeks ago, if you'd asked me that, I'd have laughed at you if this team could make a run.
I would have said our bullpen's going to kill us.
Yep. And now I still think it is, but
I do. But
I've got more hope than I did 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. I would have said, no, the season's going to end with us not in the playoffs because the bullpen's going to kill us. Now they're showing life, and that's good. I mean, that's really good. And Uvalde went today, looked a little bit better. Yeah, his velocity it's still not there.
No,
he was hitting 94, and he's
still walking too many people.
Times. Yeah, and it's just I don't know if there's still something wrong.
Yeah,
there was a point in the game where they thought they saw something that may have happened with him, and it seemed like he was just upset with the location of a pitch, which was actually turned into a ground out to short.
Yeah,
but they came out because they thought they saw something. I'm wondering if he doesn't have something nagging.
I think he does, because he's just not pitching right.
He was earlier in the year. He was hitting 96, 97 with no issues, topping out at 98, 99 a time or two, and now his velocity, he hit 92 to start the game. That's I don't know.
So anyway,
maybe I think this is a building block to help get him back on track.
But, I think this team now, again, their magic number is 5, and every time the Astros lose, their magic number goes down 1, even if they lose. If the Astros lose, their magic number goes down 1. So that's all we're looking for at this point. So let's talk about another guy who homers about every, 8th at bat. How in the world, and you asked me this off the air, how do you pitch to Corey Seager?
If it's anywhere close, he can hit it.
Yeah.
And he will hit it.
And he will hit it, yeah. He took it the other way today. Through between the second baseman and shortstop, or shortstop and third baseman. He took it the other way today.
What was funny about today's game, and I like Seattle's pitcher, Wu.
Yeah.
I like that kid. He's going to be pretty good. He's going to be a pain in the ass for a while for the Mariners. But the catcher comes out. Corey Seager's coming up. Runners on base. And they had a conversation about, how are we going to pitch him? It was early in the game.
Yeah.
2 outs. And they threw him a first pitch breaking ball and crushed it. If it's anywhere close, and he's so aggressive too, that's the funny thing is you would imagine they'd try to get him to chase, and teams have tried to get him to chase early in the count. But his eye is so good.
Yeah. That, if I were the pitching coach after that, I would have walked out there and said, let's not do that. That's what we don't want to do. That right there, that's what we don't want to do.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. And just it's so hard because you can get him maybe one time, one way, but the next time you think, okay, I can do that again. No, nope. He's gonna crush it. So
he is as locked in as I've seen anybody at any point of the season.
All season long.
All season. But season. You can see it like when he starts to swing, you're like, oh, he sees this one, he's got it. And he just crushes the ball.
Oh,
so this is amazing.
I said it out loud to nobody, or actually I said it, Beltray was sitting next to me, but my dog, right before, when that pitch came out of his hand, and I saw it was a breaking ball.
Yeah. You were like, uh-oh.
I said,
yeah.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Yeah, and they had 6 home runs again today. So I wanted to go back to the Boston series real quick, because when Bruce Bochy got ejected in game 2 of that series and the Rangers were down in that game, I feel like he sparked his team when he did that. Because if you look at it, they scored, I believe it was over 20 runs in the next, since that, I mean, in the next 2 Boston games, they scored over 20 runs, or 19. And then they swept Seattle. So they haven't lost since Bochy went out there and screamed at the umpire and got himself thrown out of the game. And I don't think that works very often, and I don't even know if that's the reason. But sometimes something like that can really spark a team. And I think that it kind of woke the Rangers up to the point that this is in our grasp. It's right here. All we have to do is win, and we're in. And I think I think maybe they figured it out right then. But and that's just me guessing. But they have definitely turned it around, pitching and fielding and hitting, since Bochy got ejected from that game too.
The fielding's been awesome. And we talked about Seager, last year he was not good.
No.
The field. He was not. This year, I think maybe the hitting and his success in hitting has kind of helped translate to the field. And you can even argue third base. Josh Young is playing at a Gold Glove caliber.
I was about to bring him up and say, and it's not that he's underrated, but some of the plays that Josh Young makes, he makes it look like he's not doing anything. And they're plays that they're plays that 80% of third basemen aren't going to make, and he's just easily getting to them and throwing runners out. I mean, I think his defense is so much better than people realize.
Well, we were so enamored, and that's all we heard about. We didn't get to see him much when he was in the minors. And number one, because he was injured. I mean, we can watch MILB TV all we want, but if he's not in the lineup, we didn't get
there's nothing you can do. Yeah.
So that was my concern. We knew he was going to hit, but it's how good is his defense? And man,
pretty good.
It's damn good all year long. And I don't have any worries there. And again, Gold Glove caliber, they probably won't give it to him.
No,
Marcus Semien, Gold Glove caliber.
Yep.
The list goes on.
Next year, I'm telling you right now, I'm calling it right now. Evan Carter's a Gold Glover next year. I'm calling it right now.
Out in left field or right field.
That dude, the way he plays baseball out there, good gracious.
Yeah, it's just everything is looking so up, and having a guy as young as Carter, that he's
21 and he turned 21 this year.
Yeah, he's so patient at the plate. It's like he's played the game at a major league level for 8 years.
Yeah,
it out already.
There's not a lot of guys you see come up and don't look lost at all, and he really hasn't had an at bat where he looked lost
since his first at bat. You could tell. I mean, the way he worked the count and saw, it got a pitch that was actually inside, but the umpire, the pitch before, called it a strike. And C.J. Nitkowski mentioned it in that at bat. If the umpire doesn't call that a strike, Carter might not swing at that pitch.
Yep.
To get the base hit, because he's that smart of a hitter. He probably takes it again.
Yeah, and walks.
And so he's so patient up there. He's got excellent defense. You hit it anywhere in our ballpark or in the outfield against us, somebody's going to track it down. You can't run on anybody either.
No.
Leote threw a guy out today 99 miles an hour. Now
that was a throw, man.
He hosed him.
He wasn't even close. He wasn't even close to home plate when the ball got there.
No, that was a hose. I mean,
that was. All right, before we wrap it up tonight, I wanted to look at one more thing. All right, 7 games left. And after today, we become Mariners fans because the Mariners and the Astros play. The Rangers' magic number is 5. So every time the Astros lose, the Rangers' magic number goes down. And every time the Rangers win, their magic number goes down. So if Seattle could somehow sweep Houston, we win the division.
Yep.
And if we sweep Angel, but here's what I'm worried about, and I wanted to mention this before we got off the air tonight, is letdown. I'm a little worried about the Rangers flying out to Anaheim and playing the Angels after this highly emotional home series where it was packed all 3 nights, crowds 100% behind them. Now they're going to go to a place with, 12 people sitting in the stands who don't really care who wins the game, and a team that has nothing to lose, so they can do whatever. They can pull out all the stops. They don't care. I'm a little bit worried about letdown. I think the Rangers probably, and I hate to say this, but I think they lose tomorrow night.
Oof.
I think they come out. I think they come out flat.
Coming off of the high emotions of this past series. I
mean, I just think they come out flat tomorrow. Now, I think they can still take 2 or 3, but I think they come out flat tomorrow.
I think that I can agree that they will come out flat, but it could be one of those where it's okay.
Well, the Angels are bad enough that they should still be able to win, even if they're flat.
Right, and it may be
no Ohtani, no flat, Trout,
flat one, maybe even 2 times through the lineup.
Yeah,
pitchers, your starting pitchers out there having a battle against that woeful Anaheim offense, and I could see them catching somebody making a play.
Yeah,
Bochy getting thrown out, something that sparks them midway through the game, and then they're able to come back and win.
And dude, I've never seen a guy phone in a season like Anthony Rendon. Dude, I am so glad we didn't get that guy. That dude does not give a crap about his career or the Angels at this point.
Contract, and
he does not give a ever living crap what happens to that team or him. He does not care one bit.
Nope. It's weird.
He said as much, and he said as much in an interview. I got my money. Why do I care? Well, because they're paying you, $40 million a year to be a good player.
Yeah. Thank God Josh Young was there, because
I'm kind of surprised he wasn't eating a hot dog and smoking a cigarette during the interview.
Yeah, going drinking beer in the clubhouse in between innings.
that was the Red Sox, wasn't it, a couple years back?
Yeah, that was.
They got in trouble for that. Yeah.
Yeah, they did. Josh Beckett and
they were knocking them back playing video games down in the clubhouse. No, Rendon's probably playing on a Switch in the dugout. I don't know what you're talking about. He doesn't care, man.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got his own lounge chair.
He's got a martini in his hand.
70-inch screen.
Smoking he's got his vape while he's sitting there in the dugout. I mean, I've never seen
him on deck. Oh, okay. Where's my helmet?
Oh, what? Hey, anyone see my bat?
What's the score?
What's it look like? I think it's made out of wood. I don't know. I haven't seen one in a while. Dude, I'm so glad the Rangers didn't pick that. But seriously, though, I mean, the Rangers should sweep this series, but, division rivals, it never happens, and especially coming off the high. So if they take 2 out of 3, take 2 out of 3 from the Angels, I think they win the division.
Yeah, like we've said all season long, take 2 out of 3, even against the crappy teams, they're going to have a day where they, the sun shines on the dog's ass every once in a while.
Yep. Well, like I said, if they take 2 out of 3, I can almost guarantee they win the AL West.
Yeah, I believe so. And we just gotta hope the Mariners are, because they're still in it. I mean, they're still.
Oh, they can still make a wild card. Yeah, they can still make a wild card. I mean, we didn't knock them out of the wild card by any stretch of the imagination. No, they're still in the wild card right now.
They're not done, and they can take a that was a time difference and the crappy road, on the road against a team who's playoff caliber.
But Seattle is a half game behind the Astros for that third wild card spot, so it's not like they're out of it at all.
No, they should still have the energy and the excitement and
they're still a good team. I mean, that's the thing. The thing that cracks me up is both Seattle and Houston had those huge surges, but they just had them 2 weeks too early. Because now the Rangers are resurgent and they're surging, and the Astros and the Mariners are having a slump right now, which is the worst time to have a slump. So the Astros are 85-71. Seattle is 84-71. Seattle is a half game out of that third spot right now. So they take 2 out of 3 from Houston, and they flip flop. They're in first place, or they're in the wild card, and Houston's out. I mean, can you imagine if Texas and Seattle makes the playoffs and Houston doesn't?
I would. Oh man, I would be so. I'd jump for joy, man.
What are Astros fans going to say? Just wait till November. I mean, what are they going to say at that point?
I don't know.
Because, they've been saying that, wait till May, wait till June, wait till July, wait till August. It's like, okay, we've been waiting a long time, and we're in first place. I don't think. Are you saying like July of last year? Because you guys had first place July of last year. Are you saying October of last year? Because you guys were real good then. You won. But they're not. I mean, even if they make the playoffs, they're not winning the World Series.
We obviously love Astros fans.
Well, I mean, here's the deal. I don't hate the Astros at all, like the team, but their fans I love them. They're good guys. They're good people. They're such a good fan base.
Yeah, it's strange. Like I said before on the podcast.
And just to clarify, there are idiot Rangers fans too.
They are.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot. We've been
highlighting that on the Twitter
we've
/
shined a
X
spotlight on that for sure. But no, it's hard for me to hate the Astros when they were a team in the National League that I rooted for so long.
Yes, I mean,
and they weren't my favorite team. Obviously, the Rangers were my favorite team, but the Astros, I've rooted for them.
Well, I mean, Astros White Sox World Series, I was 100% rooting for the Astros to win that World Series.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just right now their fans have kind of
spoiled it.
Kind of screwed it up, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Well,
all right. Well, I think that's all we got.
They can watch. No, I'm not going to say it.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I mean, the Rangers now have Seattle, so the last series really they only need to split it. If they take 2 out of 3 from the Angels, they probably don't even need to split it.
The Rangers need tiebreakers against
Seattle, against Tampa, against Toronto, and not against Houston though.
Not against Houston. But
hey, congratulations, Houston, for the silver boot. You won something this year.
Yippee-ki-yay!
I know I'm being kind of mean. Anyway, this is the Ranger Report podcast. This is a longer episode because we did both minors and majors. I think we will probably. I haven't talked to CJ about this yet, but we'll probably be back on the air either Wednesday or Thursday going into that Seattle series just to see where the standings are at because there will only be 4 games left. Then, of course, next Sunday, we will talk about the postseason because unless we go 0-7 this week, we are in the postseason.
Right. And we'll also be able to do a little catch up. We'll probably focus a little bit on Round Rock on that one as well.
Yeah, because, and that's what I was figured. Wednesday or Thursday, we'll also do a double again, minors and majors, because Round Rock will be in their playoff series, and we'll talk about that as well. So we got a lot of good stuff coming up. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can see us because everybody loves that. Hey, but the beard is getting pretty long, so you want to see that if you haven't.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Never mind. It's gonna be down by your belly button.
I'm wearing a Ranger Report shirt, but you can't tell unless I raise my beard so you can see it because I'm covering the logo. So I guess I need to start putting them lower for my own personal shirts.
Yeah, or put them on your shoulders.
Or put them on. Yeah, put them one here and one right here where people can see them. So anyway, at least and again, if COVID ever happens again, I'm covered. See. I don't need a mask.
Yeah, you are wearing a mask.
I'm already wearing a mask all the time. I'm wearing a mask at all times. And, if you do need to send a letter, you can send it care of the Ranger Report to Santa Claus. I get those and I can take care of them for you. So anyway, all right, I think we're train wrecking at this point. So thanks everybody for listening. We'll talk to you guys either Wednesday or Thursday, depending on our work schedules. We will put one out before that Seattle series starts and while Round Rock is in the playoffs. So guys, have a good one.
Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Ranger Report podcast. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, and at therangerreport.com.